right, what do we got? What do we got? Got mile per hour. We got snapshot. Okay, let's get started. I'm just an observer. This is not official or anything like that. It's just me taking notice. 38, 33. Oh, the dog's not here. Now, from what I heard, it's still 101 degrees out here. And you got your hazard lights on, going 45 miles an hour. How much of a hazard are you? I'll never get it. $51, 40-ish. They go a little bit faster at night. This guy looks like he's got a head of steam. 49 or 56, one of those. Wow, somebody driving sensible. Huh. You can always tell the people have grown up. So Yeah, this thing's off. Turn it off. Turn it back on. No way that guy was gonna say 70. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay. Well, I'm on the way. Yeah, 38 seems more right. $42? That might be right. $41 is right. So I'm kind of learning what certain speeds sound like. Damn it, I thought crap. Now I get it. They got tired of me putting trash in there, so. Is that what happened? I don't know. I just know that the trash can isn't what it usually is, so. I would be shocked if they put that school limits. I guess they ran out of signs, or they ran out of money for signs, because there's two things I reported. There was the one over there off of Northwest Highway and Webb Chapel. I was complaining that it was flapping around and it could have become a missile in high winds. And so they just took the sign. They told me, called me, and they called me up and said, "Oh, Mr. Young, we're still waiting for the replacement sign. That's a special kind of sign that we got to put up." And I was like, okay. They was sitting to catch me while I'm sleeping. I was like half awake. What? Okay. Like, can I measure his speed from here? Yes, and it says 34, so he's got that stealth technology. What I mean by that is I heard that, I don't know if it's not a rumor, but it's really, I'd heard that, whatchamacallit, that sports cars have like technology that the radar can bounce off, or not bounce off, but like stealth technology. I guess what I'm trying to say, like stealth technology. Yeah, I know it's late at night. You hear a guy out here talking to himself wearing weird gear. Makes people nervous. No, this still didn't fix it. It may not get fixed. Wait, where was it? It was there. Okay, so they took the dadgum sign, but left this. I remember last time I reported a school limit sign, a school zone sign around here. It took weeks. I guess there's Encore hooking up the utility over here. Maybe the line conditioner went out, who knows? Okay, here we go. That's all I really wanted, so I'm gonna make a turn over Lenel. I have to limit my miles because my ankle. I'm giving it a chance to heal up. I do miss long walks though. Let me rephrase that. I miss long walks when the air is good. It is hot and stuffy out here. Like I said, it's 11 o'clock at night and it's still 101 degrees. All right, here we go. Ready. No, they said that they were cracking down on speeders this month, and it looks like they are. I haven't witnessed too many people just going all out. Oh, this guy usually keeps up with this, but it's starting to get a little long over here. Or something's wrong. Yeah, maybe somebody new moved in. That guy might have finally passed away. Because this, they never, like I said, they would never let it get like this. So either something's wrong or I got a new person. Never forget the name of the dog. It was Coco. And she'd be out there, Coco, get back here, Coco. Coco damn near jumped over the fence. And then as I kept going through the years, Coco stopped jumping. She would just bark at the fence. And then as I kept going, Coco stopped barking at the fence. She would just kind of meander slowly to the fence. And then as I kept coming, Coco was no more. I started telling people how long I've been doing this, and I didn't realize I lost a decade. How do you do that? Thanks, Trump. I lost a decade to COVID. 2026 is the first year where I'm starting to realize, okay, COVID's over. Everything's going back to the way it was. And this decade's almost over. It's a lost decade. So here I am, walking the streets of Dallas for 26 years. I started doing this in 2000. And every year I do this, I don't acknowledge it. And then someday I have to sit there and tell people, yeah, I've been walking for... And I started doing the math and I'm like, shit. I'm not immortal, but it would be kind of cool if society is still here. I don't think it will be. But if 2099, I'd be walking around and they'd be like, how long you been walking here? I was like, I started walking in 2000. I was like, 100 years? I was like, yeah. 100 years, the bull on these. What's up, Bunny? Are you curious or scared? Well, the fact that there's bunnies here means there's no coyotes here. Or does it just mean that the coyotes don't like to show themselves? All right, I guess I can turn. Oh, it already turned itself off. Like I said, anybody comes down here jackassing around, they got chart toppers, so they got people that are supposed to be watching this. And I know they got people watching because I was on next door and they were like, man, it's like, we see you guys got here quick. And it's like, yeah, we're part of the, what is it? They call themselves the Midway Hollow Watch or something like that. So I'm being watched. You know, the funny thing is, it is getting better because I've been walking this area for about 26 years. In fact, I've been walking this area for 30 years. I was walking this area in high school. And it was always like this broken mess, and you get to this one part. But for there to be a nice sidewalk here is a change. This has always been broken. The thought that maybe one day they'll fix this. Doesn't look like it though, does it? Look at where they got the fence. Oh no, I'm sorry, they haven't built yet. They would have to get rid of this tree. But the roots are growing. Ooh, that's a tough one. This is I think that's hackberry. Hackberry or bodak, I can never remember. My dad would sit there and he would say, you see that tree right there? He was telling me he tried to cut through it with the chainsaw, and the chainsaw started sparking. That wasn't always here, and I think I know why they put it here. It's actually cooler over here. It dropped about 90 to 90 degrees. What we got here? '91. Definitely feels cooler. This is one of my favorite areas to walk through. I used to think this was the good land. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, the battery died. Huh. All right, so I got to take these out and throw them away because that's when I found that this thing was used. I was over there trying to look at what had happened when I had that little bit of a drop that one day, and I looked and I was like, something's... When I first got it, it was a little off. I looked at the screen and I said, well, maybe it's just, this is the way it is. It looked like it was a little scratched up. So then I opened up the battery door, and I looked, and they had 3 different brands of batteries on there. I was like, what in the world? Rayovac, Amazon brand, or something else. Okay, well, you can't do that. But they had like 3 different mixed brands of batteries on there, and I was like, what the hell? And it didn't dawn on me. I was like, well, you know what? Batteries aren't included. I think that's what they said on the I'll have to look at the page again. I told them, I said, hey, I got a used device. It's been happening quite a bit in Amazon where I buy something and it's delivered to me, and it's not like you think I'd know better by now. Like, if it's not in a bag, Jesus Christ. They tore this house down? No, wait a minute. This is the one. Is this the one that had the dog? The dog would be jumping up all excited. It was the White House. They had a white garage. And there used to be this graffiti on the sidewalk. It said Star C. It was a star and the letter C. Yeah, I think this is... Was that Beechwood? It probably was. What used to be here? I just have to look through my footage one day, but they tore down this house. Like I said, man, no secret. Okay, no, wait. Damn it, which house is this? I'm gonna keep going, and I think that's what it was, though. I think this was the... Yeah, I think that's what it was. I remember looking on Nextdoor, and they were saying that they have these crazy people walking through here, taking books out of the little communal book thing. Somebody left some bubble on there. What we got? Just one catch. I just want to see what kind of stuff they read over here. Maniac McGee. I doubt the Catcher in the Rye was going to stay there. But no, I used to read, if I had to put a contribution, I guess I would put, no. See, that's what I'm saying. Somebody would take my book out and think, oh, this is pornographic. You can't be having this. Like that one lady, she thought she was going to censor people. And they got her on video, and they called the cops, and next thing you know. Anyway, my whole thing was Kurt Vonnegut. I put that in there, people start saying, who the hell is the weirdo that lives in this neighborhood? I don't think this neighborhood is ready for Kurt Vonnegut. I read 2 of his books, and I wanted to read a 3rd. Just never got around to it. Jesus Christ, this is... I think I had tried to fix this before. This is fiber. It's stiff like this so that you don't break the that's fiber optic cable. That's the whole spool. I don't understand why. So I guess they took this fiber line down and then just left the wire. It's kind of funny that I have lived long enough that I remember when they used to say that there's, you know, fiber was dedicated to like little backbones and it was expensive to run, so they would just run it in like a few hundred feet. No, I'm sorry, a few feet, not 100 feet, few feet. They used to connect server racks together, and it would be like the backbone of the network. They were never meant it to be run everywhere. And then I'm looking now, they've run fiber everywhere. Hell, I think they even ran fiber underwater. I don't even know if they make them out of glass. Maybe they do. Or they still make them out of glass, excuse me. Okay, so this house is still here. Yeah, this is the house I thought they tore down. They used to have a dog. And that house, that used to be white. You can tell by the door. Now they painted it a dark color. Which house was it that got torn down? It was a wooden fence, and it's not like it was an unremarkable house. It was kind of nice. Not the kind of house you'd... Okay, this was the Starsea house. So you'd be right about... Right here they had a symbol that said Starsea, and they got rid of it when they redid all the sidewalks over here. What is this? Huh. Runoff from a construction site, maybe? I went down Rochelle, right? Somebody had lost their letters. Oh, wait a minute. Just thought about something. Well, now it's turned on. Then it started fading. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, no, I didn't lose it. It's just I can't feel it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. So you look at this, it's got rail back, some CB Sunbeam. They just put the cheapest things they could put in here. And I guess I should have known something was up when I got batteries to begin with. I don't think batteries are supposed to be included. Okay, so it's not there. Uh-oh. Maybe I didn't include them. Alright, so I left that at home. Okay. Well, good to know. Sometimes what you should do is let yourself, and yeah, I learned that from some of the people, is linger in a neighborhood a little bit, just to kind of see. Don't always be in a hurry to get where you're going, because sometimes you can miss things if you don't stand still for a little bit. All right, waxing gibbous. Is it? No, it's a half moon. No, I think that's waxing gibbous. I just don't know. Are you sure? Not really. I mean, it kind of looks like a crescent. It's not quite crescent though. Maybe it's waning gibbous. Current moon phase, Dallas, Texas. Yeah, it's waning gibbous. Nope, this says waxing gibbous. I don't know. Yeah, waxing gibbous. You were right. Now, that house has been torn down for a while now. Once again, there's more. What is going on around here? Is that a nail? That was a nail. Big ass deck screw. That's a deck screw. It's an inch. One and a quarter inch deck screw. Kind of thing you'd find in your tire later and didn't know where the hell it came from. So somebody's over here. I got loose gravel and sand and bolts. Like somebody's dumping their load over here. There used to be a, so that was a funny thing. Oh, look at this. That, yeah, it's a swastika. Huh. Is it a swastika? It doesn't look like it. It looks like somebody doesn't know what they're doing. Huh. Like I said, they got an organization, they can figure it out. I mean, technically this is metal, so. Okay. But yeah, they don't have a topper anymore. What time is it? $36 till. I used to hate that when I was a kid. Well, it's 15 till, 18 till, and I wasn't getting it. And then later on in life, that was the other thing, is that when I grew up, I had such a cheap family, or I don't know how to put it, but the bottom line is I would get, it wasn't a cheap family, so I had Mickey Mouse watches, and those were always analog. They never lasted long because I was a rough and tumble kid. They were battery operated, and I'd always, you know, get wet or something, and they were always toast. When did I get my first digital watch? I don't want to give away too much. One of my watches was the one that people talk about. I had the one with the calculator on it. You know, it's funny, when I was a kid, I always wanted to have one of the, I used to read Dick Tracy. You say, you're not that old. I was like, no, I'm not, but I think I said this before. You go down to the library and they used to have the volumes of the old comic books. That's where I got acquainted with all the Golden Age people. That's where I read about Green Lantern, Batman, the old Bob, you know, the old Bill Finger Batmans. I used to tell people, it was like they had Batman 1 and then they had a 2. He'd have a number 2 on his chest. And what happened was Dick Grayson had taken over and become Batman. And then Batman's son, who he had with Batwoman, they had a kid, and then the kid became the new Boy Wonder. So when you see Damian Wayne, now, that's not new. He was always slated to be. It just wasn't named Damian Wayne. It was named something else, like Bruce Wayne Jr. or something. Batwoman disappeared, though. She was a villain, and then she became a hero, and she was a socialite that she decided she was going to put on the Batman mantle costume, and then she had a whip. Sound familiar? Well, before they had Catwoman. Trying not to step on these poor guys. Construction site complaint? Well, maybe. Wait, what was... Okay. So that house had it had a second story, but the second story was a high-pitched roof. And then I guess they said they don't want the high-pitched roof anymore, so now they're putting a second story on it. And I guess what I'm trying to figure out, why I'm exasperated, is why not just tear the fucker down? Or is this the one with the high? No, it was that one back there. It had a high-pitched roof. They finally sold this one. So this situation, I guess, kind of finally took care of itself. I'd come down here and they'd have junk cars down here and salvage things, and 2 or 3 people parked over in one spot, and then they kept changing the plate. They would move that temp plate over. Okay, so the guy, yeah, somebody got on his ass. Because then there was the other house over here that they also had junk cars. And now he's got it covered up. And then this one for a long time would sit here, and then it would move around a little bit, and then they had a for sale sign. And I guess they got no takers. Keep in mind, this is all a span of like 7 months. I used to come down here regularly, and now I've been dealing with my own shit in my own neighborhood. Somebody must have said something to these folks over here too. Or he's just not here tonight. There's the guy that drives the Chrysler 300s. The cats aren't around either. Tallarico country. And she had the, there's always Democrats. Texas is Tallarico country. I didn't even know who was running for governor. Like that, the Democrats are so watered down in Texas. I didn't even know that they were running anybody. I was like, why wouldn't they? Because they don't care about this state. They gave up on Texas a long time ago. If somebody's Democrat in this area, they like I said, it's either a very high minority district or a highly populated minority district, or they're independently wealthy, because Democrats don't get any love down here. Like my own block, they don't have a Democratic cheer. Nobody to go by the houses and canvass. And the guy offered me the position, and I said no. Because I'm done with the Democrats, man. Yeah, some things have changed over here. Somebody's been getting on that ass. And then there's this situation over here. They had knocked down the sign. And I got them to put it back up, but I was hoping that they would replace the nameplates because I told them they're faded and they just left the same nameplates up there. I was thinking about that house. The guy who owns it, he's off in another place somewhere. I guess he rents it. But I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe I forgot to. Okay, now that situation has changed. This is still the same. It kind of acts as a bottleneck to keep people from going fast, but they still go fast. What I can't tell is the vehicle's inoperable or not. I think it's inoperable. So they also run a business out of the house. And before you go all, oh my God. So I was saying, as far as I know, the business they run is they shuttle kids back and forth to school. But they've got like 3 or 4 vans. This is still, oh, she finally sold it, I think. Gambino. That's all I remember was the last name was Gambino, and she was like Christine Gambino, I think it was, and she was come by every once in a while. And it's, okay. Yeah, I got an idea what's going on there. $3719. No, I hate that I'm gonna have a short video for the Insta360 Studio because I hate it doesn't run well on Linux. It probably doesn't run well on Windows. All the bugs I'm having on Linux. So I'm running it inside of bottles. It runs, okay? It runs in bottles. You do a little video editing, sometimes it locks us up, sometimes it crashes. Some of the features are missing. What in the world? I ran into a spider web. All right, so midnight broadcast. Okay, well, I can't sign off yet. I got some foolishness happening here.